Welcome to Xi Jinping Briefing. The content of the briefing includes analysis. Putin promises Xi to fight for 5 years in Ukraine. FP Live looks back at 2023. Chinese spy agency rising to challenge the CIA. Xi touts alternative to Western capitalism in speech on Mao. China's Xi claims reunification with Taiwan is inevitable as crucial election looms. Analysis. Putin promises Xi to fight for 5 years in Ukraine. Nikkei Asia. Russian President Vladimir Putin reportedly told Chinese President Xi Jinping in March that Russia would fight in Ukraine for at least 5 years. This information has significant implications for China's strategy and its relationship with Russia. If the war between Russia and Ukraine continues for a prolonged period, it could impact Xi's plans for his third term as China's president and Chinese Communist Party General Secretary, as well as his goal of unifying Taiwan with mainland China. China has already revisited its strategy based on Putin's remarks, as evidenced by its peace mission to Europe, which included visits to Ukraine and Russia. This shift in China's stance may have angered Putin, who has been using intermediaries to signal a willingness to consider a ceasefire in Ukraine. The revelations about Putin's comments also have implications for Japan's military policy. Japan has already revised its principles on arms exports and plans to export Patriot missiles to the US to complement their inventory, which has been depleted due to Russia's prolonged invasion of Ukraine. If the war continues for 5 years, Japan may face pressure to further revise its stance on arms exports, which could also impact the Taiwan issue. FP Live looks back at 2023. Foreign policy. The year 2023 has been marked by a number of significant global events, including the ongoing war in Ukraine, the attack on Israel by Hamas, climate-related disasters, debt crises, and high inflation. In an interview with FP Live, Stephen Walt, a professor at Harvard University, discussed these developments and shared his observations. He noted that the situation in Ukraine has worsened, with the Ukrainian forces losing key battles and facing diminishing external support. Regarding the conflict between Israel and Hamas, Walt expressed surprise at the scale of the attack and the subsequent ripple effects on other conflicts and the US-Israeli relationship. He criticized the US response for its full embrace of Israel, which has damaged America's global image. Walt also highlighted the strain on the global order, particularly in terms of hypocrisy and selective attention, as well as the need to address artificial intelligence on a global scale. He further emphasized the importance of addressing the climate crisis and the challenges of migration and populist nationalism. Finally, Walt discussed the slowdown of the Chinese economy and the country's attempts to mend relations with other nations. Chinese spy agency rising to challenge the CIA. New York Times. Chinese spies have developed an artificial intelligence (AI) program that tracks American spies and other targets, according to US officials. The program creates instant dossiers on people of interest, analyzing behavior patterns and identifying vulnerabilities. The development of the technology is indicative of China's ambition to rival the US as the world's leading economic and military power. The Ministry of State Security, China's main intelligence agency, has expanded its recruitment efforts, including targeting American citizens, and has allocated a larger budget for training and advanced technologies. Meanwhile, the US has doubled its spending on China at the Central Intelligence Agency and has increased its spying on Chinese companies and technological advancements. Xi touts alternative to Western capitalism in speech on Mao. Japan Times. Chinese President Xi Jinping delivered a speech on Tuesday to commemorate the 130th anniversary of Mao Zedong's birth. In his speech, Xi used the occasion to promote his vision of Chinese modernization as a counter to the West's capitalist model. He described the central task of China and the ruling Communist Party as building a stronger country and rejuvenating the Chinese nation through Chinese modernization. Xi emphasized that this was a responsibility inherited from revolutionary leaders like Mao and is now the responsibility of the current generation of Chinese communists. China's Xi claims reunification with Taiwan is inevitable as crucial election looms. CNN. Chinese President Xi Jinping has reiterated China's long-standing desire to reunite Taiwan with the mainland, calling it inevitable. The comments come ahead of a crucial election in Taiwan next month and are expected to increase tensions between the two sides. China considers Taiwan its own territory and has not ruled out the use of force to take control of the island. Relations between the US and China have also been strained by the issue, with the US maintaining an unofficial relationship with Taiwan and committing to defending the democratic island. The 21-year-old retiree who left China's rat race for life in the rural mountains. CNN. Disillusioned by city life and facing a dire job market, some young people in China are choosing to move to the countryside. The country's youth unemployment rate in cities and towns hit a record 21.3% in June, leaving many disillusioned and burned out after years of academic and work pressure. Authorities have encouraged urban youth to head to the countryside in a bid to revive rural economies. One young man, Lu Yuan, built a bamboo shack in Guizhou province and has started a YouTube channel with videos of his rural life. Lu was inspired to start the channel after watching Chinese vlogger Li Ziqi's videos about life in rural China, which have earned her 18 million subscribers. Lu's videos show him building a pig pen and cooking for his piglets. Lu uploads weekly vlogs and has garnered attention online, with more than 350,000 likes across his social media accounts. He also incorporates advertising and product placement into his videos to generate a small income. That's all the news for today, folks. Let's recap what we've learned. First, we have Putin's promise to fight in Ukraine for at least 5 years. This has significant implications for China's strategy and its relationship with Russia. If the war continues, it could impact Xi's plans for his third term as president and his goal of unifying Taiwan with mainland China. China has already shifted its stance and embarked on a peace mission to Europe, which may have angered Putin. This also has implications for Japan's military policy, as they have revised their principles on arms exports and may face pressure to further revise their stance if the war continues. Next, we have a look back at 2023. The ongoing war in Ukraine, the attack on Israel by Hamas, climate-related disasters, debt crises, and high inflation were some of the significant global events. Professor Stephen Walt from Harvard University discussed these developments and expressed concerns about the worsening situation in Ukraine, the U.S. response to the conflict in Israel, and the strain on the global order. He also emphasized the need to address the climate crisis and challenges of migration and populist nationalism. Moving on, we have news about Chinese spies developing an AI program to track American spies and other targets. This showcases China's ambition to rival the U.S. as the world's leading economic and military power. Chinese intelligence agencies have expanded recruitment efforts, including targeting American citizens, and have allocated a larger budget for training and advanced technologies. In response, the U.S. has increased its spying on Chinese companies and technological advancements. Then, we have President Xi Jinping touting an alternative to Western capitalism in his speech on Mao Zedong's birth anniversary. Xi promoted his vision of Chinese modernization as a counter to the West's capitalist model and emphasized the responsibility of the current generation of Chinese communists in building a stronger country and rejuvenating the Chinese nation. Moving on to Taiwan, President Xi reiterates China's desire for reunification, calling it inevitable. This is expected to increase tensions between China and Taiwan, especially ahead of a crucial election in Taiwan next month. China considers Taiwan its own territory and has not ruled out the use of force to take control of the island. The issue also strains relations between the U.S. and China, as the U.S. maintains an unofficial relationship with Taiwan and commits to defending the democratic island. Lastly, we have a story about young people in China choosing to leave the city and move to the countryside. With a record-high youth unemployment rate in cities, many are disillusioned and burnt out from years of academic and work pressure. Authorities are encouraging urban youth to revive rural economies. One young man, Lu Yuan, has built a bamboo shack in Guizhou province and started a YouTube channel to document his rural life. Inspired by popular Chinese vlogger Li Ziqi, Lu's videos have gained attention online, and he incorporates advertising and product placement to generate income. Phew, that was quite a lot to unpack. It's clear that these events have wide-ranging implications for China's strategy, global dynamics, and the everyday lives of people in China. As always, it's important to stay informed and keep an eye on these developments. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you make of Putin's promise to fight in Ukraine for 5 years? How do you think China's shift in stance will impact its relationship with Russia? And what about China's ambition to rival the US as a world power? Share your ideas and questions in the comments below. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6 do brief via email.